ladies and gentlemen, we've made it to WrestleMania 30. So many bookings, so many matches, so many angles, so much dumb shit I've done, so much actually good shit I've done. This has been truly my favorite save I've ever done for YouTube or out. I'll do a lot more of the waterworky stuff at the end, but, before we just jump right in, as fun as it would be, I really need to overstate, at the fact that at this point, when I started doing this, I really didn't think it would catch on. I really didn't think anything would come of it, but it would be great if I had my phone prepared for this. At this point, I'm trying to check how many subscribers I've had. I went from, I can't even remember how many subscribers there was, to 170 subscribers. 170 subscribers. 170 people gather around to watch me play this dumb wrestling game. And it surely does make my day. And the idea that it makes other people's day is even better. But it's been a long journey, everything together. I'm stalling so I can get my damn thing up so I can know what matches are in the order. Yeah, I'll save most of the thanks and stuff to the end of the show, but for now, we do have a lot of shows. We have so many matches. I can't even count how many important ones they are. We have, John Cena, Undertaker, heel John Cena's just gigantic fucking apeshit mode going up against the Streak itself. Miz and Daniel Bryan, the dynasty in shatters. Will Miz retain? Will Daniel Bryan finally get the big win? Triple H, Kofi Kingston, no holds barred. Stone Cold coming out of retirement. Brock, Jericho, Punk, triple threat. Money in the Bank. The women's Divas match. Sami Zayn, Austin, Aries. Zack Ryder's World Heavyweight Championship reign. Going up against Batista and Sheamus. Let's just get on right into the show. So we open up the show as we normally do to a sold-out Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Pyros going off in the music video I went with this was the feud, I believe, for John Cena and Bray Wyatt's feud, Legacy by Eminem. I preferred that to the Kid Rock theme, which they used, which was just, I know they obviously like Kid Rock over there, but it's just kind of fucking stupid. I feel like if you're going to go with a theme, you would go with Legacy. That makes more sense for the 30th WrestleMania. So that's the one we went with. Plus I'm a big Eminem mark, so there's that. But yeah, no, we have the fireworks, the pay-per-view display. We're showing the various matches. As I said before, I've stated them before. And we do have our first match on the card. Our opener is Sami Zayn versus Austin Aries for the United States Championship. Austin Aries has gone on a tear. He got fired by TNA for reasons I still have not figured out in game. And he went on like I said, a tear. He won the NXT title, a very lower mid-card, opener title. And he used that momentum to beat Yujiro Takahashi to win the United States Championship, a double champion. He said he wants to collect all the gold. But standing in his way was Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn wanted this match, but Austin Aries kept ducking him this, ducking him left, ducking him right, until Sami Zayn cost him a chance to get into Money in the Bank, a match he wanted to get for another championship. So now Austin Aries has no choice but to go head-on-head with Sami Zayn. And obviously this match would be, very... this is probably the most indie-rific match on the card, except maybe the tag match. Or the tag team title match we'll have later on. Sami Zayn just, when you look back at his NXT run, this is the Sami Zayn I envision. Great babyface character, great wrestling, and Austin Aries, a sublime heel and a great wrestler all on his own. He might not be he's not like one of the greatest, like that. He's not just because, indie guys are the greatest. No. But, these two together, I think, would make some magic, especially when you have the kind of WrestleMania prestige up on it when you have that. You're putting that on there. You really make it out to be, that kind of larger-than-life mentality. But then, in a 92A, Austin Aries loses his United States Championship with a brainbuster, and Sami Zayn wins the United States Championship. 92A, there was a lack of psych, but at this point, like I said on the Kick Show, jokingly, it could get with 64. It could this whole event could get 64, and I'll be happy, because I really have kind of transitioned at this point from ratings to story, and not one of the shorter storylines, but Sami Zayn winning the big one, stopping the belt collector in his tracks. Sami Zayn has won the United States Championship. 92A, great match, and it's a big win as Sami Zayn. Austin Aries couldn't win in his first WrestleMania, but sometimes that just happens. It happened with Samoa Joe. That's going to probably happen with some other people. But Sami Zayn gets to say that he won at WrestleMania, and he won the United States Championship. Up next, we have Katie Lee versus Astrid of the Coven for the Divas title. The Coven are absolutely banned from ringside. No interference from them. Katie Lee has grown to mature, to no longer be afraid of whatever magic that Astrid has in her effect, the former Buggy Nova. We don't know where the Covens come from. We don't know their goals. We don't know their motives. They're a mysterious force. But same thing can be said about Katie Lee, and these two forces go up for the Divas title. It may not be as big of a match as AJ Lane and Natalia from last year, which scored a 99. But again, ratings are important. This match is going to be a hard hitting for a Divas match at this point. Definitely that we've kind of lost the Divas match point. It's now mostly only a name. I'm kind of trying to keep up with the timeline, as I've said before. That's why it's even still called the Divas title. We really do see a good women's match here. Buggy Nova is all her own. If you watched her indie stuff, again, not the greatest just because she's on the indies, but she does have a pretty good keen sense, especially, like the Bellas, my God. Anyone could fucking out wrestle them, but, that's the whole point. And then Katie Lee's no slouch in the ring either, so this match, obviously very, kind of hard-hitting. They don't like each other. That's pretty evident. But during the ending of this match, there is a very odd anomaly, is that the lights go out. And they're not like Undertaker lights go out. You probably have like the Fiend sound effect, but there's no real magic. Lights just go on and go off. And it's just, it startles Katie Lee. It startles her enough so that in a 90 match, Astrid uses that distraction, forget the foreign object, to make defense number 4 of her WWE Divas title. These two women have really come a long way, I just want to say. Like I said, rating obviously important, but the personal ratings I like to see. Astrid just is real. I've really built her up. I was worried that she might not handle the position well, and then Katie Lee did fantastic, especially for WrestleMania. But these two, obviously, Astrid walks away, the first champion to retain her title, or their title at WrestleMania, is Astrid. What was that light? What was that all about? We may never know. And I just want to check dirt sheets real quick just to see if it was short match length. I maybe could have given it 2 more. We're literally out of kayfabe. In the game, I have literally 2 minutes. So maybe it would have gotten better, but you know what? I'm fine with it as a match. It wouldn't be super long. But next up, we have another match. We're just hitting match after match. And this one is a big one, an important one. Money in the Bank. The briefcase that can change your life, unless you're Sheamus and you fucking suck. Sheamus obviously had a horrible run with his Money in the Bank. He lost it to Kevin Nash as Oz, who then cashed it in and lost to John Cena. But, it is what it is, I guess. So I believe that makes Kevin Nash the first one to lose the Money in the Bank cash in. That makes sense, and that's pretty accurate. I would prefer that over Damien Sandow, but what it is. But on the Raw side, we have a very high amount of. We have Randy Orton, who's seemingly not aligned at all, actually, with the Dynasty, kicked out But Triple H he's desperate at this point to get any semblance of order on his side back. So a win for him could see him possibly rejoining that group if it still exists. But, he is Randy Orton. He's the Viper. That's the whole point. John Morrison, he's the bridesmaid, never the bride in the save. He's gone on and had great matches. And sometimes, he can sleep well at night, but he would sleep well even better if he had a world title or at least the Money in the Bank briefcase to his name. Wade Barrett, kind of the same story. A rough, rugged individual who has just kind of fallen by the wayside, not even by his own choice or his own failures, just because he's either had to deal with Alex Riley being an annoying cunt, or he's had to deal with all kinds of other drama with the dynasty. He did not want to support that. He wanted to just do his own thing. But now he has the chance to do that and climb up that briefcase, climb up the briefcase. Yeah, great. I'm just going to ignore that. On the SmackDown side, we have Alberto Del Rio, who, a guy, sleeper. It's definitely sleeper hit it would be. A lot of the SmackDown stars are sleeper hits. You have Alberto Del Rio, fine technical athlete, but has not won the big one. Drew McIntyre, basically the same story as Wade Barrett. He's gone to SmackDown and he's done good matches. He's done decent things, but he's never won a big match. And Sin Cara, I mean, my God, imagine Sin Cara with the briefcase. The motherfucker would probably kill himself with it. Like, holy shit, the guy would somehow botch it. But, of course, we have the Money in the Bank match. And this is, a lot of these guys, Sin Cara is obviously going to fly with John Morrison. Besides that, it's a mostly brutal affair. This isn't like a high spots match. This is like a brawl match. The ladders are used for sure. Randy Orton, my God. You've seen him in these type of matches, He might not be the best when he wins them, but, he's definitely the best for business when he's in them. I mean, he just RKOs anything out of sight. Alberto probably does a fun spot with the arm bar and the ladder. Didn't he do that in one of the Money in the Bank ones from like 2011? He might have done the one he won. John Morrison probably flips over some ladders. Wade Barrett probably he does that awesome spot where he did the bull hammer onto, onto Sin Cara as he flew in the air and just kills him midair. But, of course, we can only have one winner for Money in the Bank. And in a 100 match, Jesus, Drew McIntyre is your new Money in the Bank briefcase holder, the sleeper hit. I don't know. Comment down below if you thought he was gonna win. And I kind of made it, a mystery of who was gonna win. I kind of wanted to plant the seeds for Orton, and Orton was definitely pissed he had to lose this match. But my God, did Drew McIntyre prove just a great performance. Everyone here performed their best in a 100-star Money in the Bank ladder match. The greatest Money in the Bank match at this point, I would assume, at WrestleMania. And Drew McIntyre is now destined to do great things in the WWE. And I just realized if this is your first video of mine out of kayfabe, Sin Cara is in Suzuki Gun. So let that sink in. Sorry about that. sorry you had to see that. But we go to our next match, and this one is gonna be a big doozy, as we have who is the best in the world. A lot of people will claim that title in wrestling, of course, but we have Chris Jericho, the GOAT. We have CM Punk, whose nickname is the best in the world. And then there's the Beast, Brock Lesnar, the Beast in the world, as Paul Heyman has said. These guys, this isn't really a personal match, except for the fact that when you put these type of people in the ring, shit's gonna go down. Chris Jericho, he's laid claim. He wants to bring back his position on the card. Brock Lesnar is a monster. He's kind of failed to recap that. But of course, and then CM Punk main evented last year's WrestleMania and wants to prove that he can do it again, and a win in this match would be great. And these, obviously, they all have their own kind of styles. Punk is jack of all trades, master of all trades, really. Just going to town on any kind. He can switch his style up, at least how I've portrayed it in the save, as best he can. Chris Jericho, more of a technical guy. So, he does great things with Punk. But Brock Lesnar is really the wild card. Because when he just gets those moments of just energy, he just goes to fucking town. Like, he's throwing Chris Jericho, out the fucking ring, halfway up the fucking ramp. He's beating the fuck out of CM Punk, and Punk can, he could take it too. And we're not making Brock Lesnar look weak. We're making him look, equal, especially with 2-on-1. They've had the alliance. Was the joke in the if you have not watched the build up, was Chris Jericho wanted an alliance with Punk, and Punk did not give a shit. But in the heat of it, they're like, okay, we should probably deal with that, and they work their best to beat down Brock Lesnar. Maybe we'd do an announcer's table spot, because I don't really see. Yeah, we'll leave the announcer's table spot to a specific match. I think you can tell it. But they take Brock Lesnar out somehow. Maybe use weapons. This is a triple threat after all. Not too many weapons. Then they go out back to their own match. Brock Lesnar eventually will come back and probably clothesline fucking Jericho right out of his own shoes, and it's just back and forth between all three men. But there can only be one winner. And in a 99 A-star match, Brock Lesnar hits Chris Jericho with the F5 to pick up the victory. Chris Jericho, obviously getting old. I'm not sure how this will work when I convert it. If he will still be old, he will still be, enough to get decent pop. But a 79 in a 99 A-star match, definitely great. I wanted to give Brock the win. I can sit here all day and shit on modern Brock, but this is the Brock I like. A 20-minute match, I'm going to go fucking apeshit Brock is great. This is like Daniel Bryan match Brock. This is Kurt Angle Brock. This is a Brock that cares about wrestling. So I think he deserved the win. I haven't booked him the best. I don't like booking monster heels that I don't believe are monster heels just out of kayfabe. And Brock did go to the UFC, and that's really great. And Paul does a fantastic job of those promos. It's really, I know it's obviously said a lot, and it's the smart thing to say, but hey, fuck you if you're the term anti-smart is so fucking dumb. But it really does go to show much, because Brock's UFC record is not great when you look at it, and that's really the main problem. Is if once you look at it, you're like, oh, okay, he did all right. So, but by making him this unstoppable monster, it's just, and the whole champion should be on every show thing. That's something I personally have. But you know what? I put all that aside, and I said, who needs to win this match? Jericho would have been great, but that wasn't going to happen just because, Punk could have won it, but he already won his WrestleMania main event, so in my timeline, I see it as Punk is still with the company and is very happy with it. He won WrestleMania, the main event. He beat The Rock. He lost the belt in a cash-in, but he beat the fucking Rock in the main event of WrestleMania last year. But Brock really hasn't done a lot. He's had decent feuds, great matches. The feud with Kofi has probably been the best thing he's done for the title at SummerSlam. So I thought, fuck it, we'll give him a win. And a win he does get with the F5. So that's always good. And I gotta make sure I have my net. But we take a break for a quick video promo segment in which we just have The Miz. And The Miz, he's glamored up, really. He could tell, his ring entrance is gonna be great. He's getting ready for all that stuff. There's camera crews interviewing him. We're doing the documentary style stuff. And, there's 24. I don't think they'd have 24 at this point. But fuck it, we do now, because we're better WWE. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And Miz just looks at his title, and he just talks about Daniel Bryan. He says Daniel Bryan has no reason to be in the position he's in today. He's a great wrestler. And in Miz's WWE, great wrestlers will be respected. But they are at the bottom of the total poll when compared to the A-list star that The Miz is. Daniel Bryan won't be going to The Tonight Show. He won't be going to Jimmy Fallon. He won't be doing any of these things. He is going to do it himself because he's The Miz. He's the champion, and he's awesome. It's kind of a, short kind of recap. We've had too many promos at this point, in the save. Miz is, his whole story. Well, we'll get to that in the entranceway. But we have a match next. The Tag Team Fatal 4-Way match. This is probably the second most indie-rific match. Especially when you look at it, we have Perfect Fortune's the champion, Ted DiBiase Jr., and Dolph Ziggler. Dolph can hang with the indie guys, and then Ted uses that kind of size and WWE know-it-all to kind of work his way into matches where he can put on great performances and out kind of wrestle them. But you do have the Kings of Wrestling, obviously indie guys, but they're smart enough to know, okay, we're just going to beat the shit out of everybody. So Chris Hero and Cesaro just take out anybody who's in the air. Miami Vices, the Motor City Machines, the machine guns. If you're new, I'm trying to work this in if this is a first video kind of thing, but it would really help me if you watched the other videos. I don't know why I did that voice. The voice was fucking annoying. I will never do that voice again. I swear, I promise. But Motor City Machines, Miami Vices, Roderick Strong, and Trent Beretta, all fighting for the WWE Tag Team titles. It's an indie-rific match, as I said before. But in another 99 A-star, we're just killing it. This is, if you're wondering again, the whole thing, this is a converted mod. So, ratings, overness have all been, and this is a long time save, so I've had a long time to build this up. The Perfect Fortunes do it. Their redemption story comes complete with a win at WrestleMania. They win at WrestleMania, and it's nuts. I mean, they take out, it was a Fatal 4-Way. I want to make sure, because sometimes I mess it up. But no botches at WrestleMania. That's for the pre-show. Perfect Fortune retain with the Dream Street zigzag combo onto Cesaro. And they make defense number 4 of their World Tag Team titles. Two guys who had a rough start to the year. Dolph won he won the Royal Rumble last year. Did not win at WrestleMania. Won the belt the next night, only for John Cena to fucking bury him at Extreme Rules, almost literally. And Ted DiBiase Jr., he won the IC title at the Royal Rumble on the off-camera part of the save. Lost it. Then now he's got it back. Or now he's gonna get back. He's got a championship back. And these two have proved at WrestleMania they can hang with the big boys. They can go. And that's all that really matters. And next up, a doozy. The glass shatters. The whole crowd erupts. It's time for Stone Cold's match. Stone Cold has had issue with Bray Wyatt's war on the old, I guess, his thing with Gold Dust, his thing with Chris Jericho. Bray Wyatt cementing himself as the, quote, new face of fear by taking out what he called the old gods of WWE. But there's no older god, I guess, in WWE than Stone Cold Steve Austin, coming out of retirement, forcing himself to put himself through this match in order to take on Bray Wyatt. And this obviously is not going to be a technical affair. This will be very, it's bittersweet for the Attitude Era fan. One of which I'm alright with the Attitude Era. I'm not a mark for it, but it's bittersweet because you do see Stone Cold Steve Austin. He has returned to wrestling, but when you put him up against Bray Wyatt, it's almost just kind of sad. Like, Bray Wyatt is a hard-hitting, fast-paced guy, and Austin has been away for the ring safely, thankfully, for a long time. Austin, of course, can brawl with him, and he definitely does. We get a lot of, probably not stunner kickouts, but just stunner attempts, but at the end of the day, it's just Bray Wyatt's just manhandling the poor man, and it's really symbolic of what we've done here, as we could see this as a new era, especially even of the saves. The seeds have been planted ever since I opened up the save last Thanksgiving, but at this point, it's just kind of gotten to the point where we really do see that in match format. Stone Cold does, however, swarm around, hits him with the stunner, and then Bray Wyatt kicks out. Kicks out 2.9, the shortest kick out you can get. And Austin's obviously worried about it, and he tries to wrestle for again. But of course, in 78B, we just have the Sister Abigail in a pin, and Bray Wyatt sends Stone Cold away. He's gone. And yeah, that's Stone Cold's return to wrestling is not a return. It's a one-off. And that's the end of it. Again, a sad kind of end to it. 14 minutes, I'm assuming, was it just declining physical ability, short match length. But you know what? This wasn't about having a good match. This was about having a story. And a story was indeed told as Bray Wyatt just manhandled this poor man and hit him with the Sister Abigail. The Attitude Era, the old era of WWE, Bray Wyatt at least can say is officially dead, and he's the one to kill it. Friedrich Nietzsche, I used the quote, God is good as dead, but that's it. And then we have another match that's probably going to suck ass, but I'll get into that later. We have Triple H and Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston, he won the belt at WrestleMania. he won the WWE title, and he held onto it all the way until Cyber Sunday. No, not Cyber Sunday. What am I? Bragging rights. What the hell am I talking about? He beat everybody that he needed to beat. He beat, CM Punk. He beat Brock Lesnar. He beat Randy Orton. He beat Wade Barrett. Everybody that stepped up to Kofi. Not only was it a great match, but it was a great victory for Kofi. And he was riding high. Kofi Mania. But it all came crashing down when Triple H just walked out and said The Miz has a title shot. And The Miz took his title shot after he had a grueling match with John Cena, and Kofi lost his championship. He was screwed. And Triple H only screwed him because he didn't see him as a star player. He saw him as the B+ player. The Miz is the one who is going to be good for business. And thus we had the founding of the dynasty. And just as a kick in the groin even after that is that they went up and Triple H just screwed Kofi again at Survivor Series. The winner had control of Raw. The dynasty could completely control it. But Batista interfered, and on the next night, the CEO, which that's a whole thing I'll get to with John Cena if you're new to the series, CEO Triple H suspended Kofi indefinitely. We didn't see him for a while. We saw shadows of him, but finally at the Royal Rumble, he cost Triple H the spot to win it. And then at No Way Out, when he tried to do the thing that he did Kofi Kingston, the same thing he tried to do to Kofi, he tried to do to The Miz, Kofi was there to stop it. And Triple H has put everything on the line here. It's not officially in writing, but Triple H has just said, he's told Kofi, if you don't want me CEO anymore, you got to put me in the hospital like Vince McMahon is. You got to put me out. And this is a no-holds-barred match. And that's exactly, we have a Triple H entrance as well. He, fucks a skull or some shit. And Kofi just comes out, street clothes, weapons in hand, a very serious Kofi. Obviously, we see the tinge of the happy-go-lucky Kofi, but there's no time for that right now. This is all business. And he comes out, and they just beat the shit out of each other. It's a WWE no-holds-barred match. It's kind of like Batista, what it could have been if they weren't older. But the main kind of thing is that Triple H, even early on into this match, to kind of simulate the fact that he wanted to use creative control to win, and we're not having that, so I had to keep him strong, and the match rating's gonna suck, kayfabe. He's out of breath. He's just, this is not a match that this man should be having at his age. He should be the CEO. It makes sense. Well, except how he did become it, but in theory it makes sense, but he can't be doing that. He's just not in the position to do that, and Kofi takes full advantage. Kofi's young, Kofi is experienced, he has that, you can be young and experienced. I was about to say how can you, but you obviously can't. I'm a fucking idiot. And the main kind of, and there's all kinds of spots, but I think the main spot is a nice callback to Kofi. Somehow he gets onto somewhere he can jump onto a prone Triple H on the announce table. And if Triple H has a lot of time to get moved, but he can't. He's just too tired. To which Kofi just does the boom drop right onto him through the announce table like he did to Randy Orton. No, that was just a regular table, but you get what I'm trying to say. And of course, Kofi then rolls him back into the ring. And in 89A, which did way better than I thought, Kofi Kingston defeats Triple H in, it's a no-holds-barred. I couldn't find one. I was too lazy to make one. He beats him with an SOS. Well, the spot I just said. It wouldn't be my Tyler video without me botching everything in quick succession. But the boom drop through the announce table, and Triple H is done. He told Kofi Kingston put him in a hospital, and Kofi Kingston put him in a fucking hospital, and he rides away. And the biggest question now is our CEO out of action like the other one is? What does this mean? What does any of it mean? We'll have to find out when the series goes to TEW 2020. But I believe, do we have another video? Yeah, we have a video package. Okay, I think they're all video packages, so I can put the phone away now. I had the phone to make sure I had all that. But Zack Ryder defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Sheamus and Batista. John Cena, of course, had a massive reign with the World Heavyweight Championship during the save. I mean, it was fucking nuts. He just beat everybody and anybody. But this isn't about him. It's about Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder stepped up to the plate at No Way Out last month. And he obviously said he was going to win. Why would you not say it? And he may even believed it. But there's that tinge of doubt that says, I'm going to get murdered by John Cena in this match. And then The Undertaker interfered. And even though he did, at the end of the day, as Zack has pointed out, it was a Rough Rider to John Cena's face that took him out. That was it. And he won the World Heavyweight Championship. He shocked the world. And then the other guys in this match, Batista, who, he has come over to SmackDown not even to win gold, but just to fuck with it. Because Triple H thought it would be funny to mess with his old pal Shawn. We don't know how he feels of that Batista powerbombed Shawn Michaels off the fucking stage. So now there are no general managers. There's no semblance of order in WWE anymore. And that's the fault of Batista. Batista is an animal. He is crazy. He's calculating. And then there's Sheamus, who's kind of like, as I mentioned with Dolph Ziggler, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. He won Money in the Bank last year. After losing the belt to Mark Henry, never being the same. He then went on to feud with Kevin Nash, of all people, for like 6 months. And he lost that Money in the Bank briefcase. And he fell into a slump. He fought Samoa Joe. He beat Samoa Joe in this feud. But beating Samoa Joe is not the same as holding Money in the Bank at the end of the day. At least right now in WWE. So Sheamus, of course, had to regroup, and he won the Elimination Chamber match to earn a right at the World Heavyweight Championship. So we have the plucky champion, the bridesmaid looking to redeem himself, and the animal and Batista. Obviously this match, very WWE triple threaty match. A triple threaty. I did the voice again. Damn it. I lied to you all. I swerve, bro. But this match, very, triple threat WWE style, just Zack Ryder, having to work against two heels. And whenever he's not, it's Sheamus and Batista beating the living shit out of each other. But at the end of the day, there can be only one winner. Another 99, Zack Ryder defends his title at WrestleMania, making his first defense after hitting Batista with the Rough Rider. The boyhood dream coming true for Zack. He won at Mania. He won the title. Obviously, I think this was pretty standard, that he was going to win. Sheamus did really great. Zack Ryder has improved so much. And even Batista has improved in this feud. This was the feud I mentioned out of kayfabe on the episodes of SmackDown when I was like, I considered taking Batista out of this fucking match. Just because he was getting really bad performances. But he has stepped up his game. I used him on the Superstars. His pop got up. And that is enough to carry him to a 99 A-star match. And that's really, at the end of the day, all that matters. But we only have 2 more matches left. So let's just finish it off. But we're going to have to slow our pace down again as The Undertaker comes out. The Undertaker makes his way down to the ring. It's probably his, real-life WrestleMania 30 entrance. Or maybe we have some Druids. I don't think there was Druids at Mania. Probably my favorite one, just to rip it off, is the one where he's walking and the Druids are below the stage and they're reaching out like souls out of hell. We'll do with that, implying these are the souls John Cena has messed with. Undertaker just decided to fuck with John Cena one day, and now the streak is on the line. 21-0 so far. Can the Undertaker survive the wrath of John Cena? Legend of the business, The Undertaker. You cannot deny that. But as the next man makes his entrance, this man just has gone on a tear. If you're new to this series, watch these older episodes. John Cena snapped. He didn't get his match at Mania. And then he lost at Mania to Sting, of all people. And after all that, after all these years of crowd abuse, all these years of just being the bad guy, he decided he would be the bad guy to make sure that his legacy stays afloat. So, here we are. We have John Cena coming out, and we just have, there's no really special entrance. He's in the hood, he's in the sweater, he's the intense John Cena that we have. This is the guy who's murdered, literally, Ryback, and figuratively murdered Vince McMahon. Dolph Ziggler, The Rock, Sting, Goldust, Christian. He beat Christian so bad he left the company in an I Quit match. Anyone who's stepped up to John Cena has met with pain. Even Zack Ryder. Some were worried, probably, I probably should have brought this up, that fighting John Cena is a tough thing to do. But he goes up against The Undertaker, and this is the dream match I envision people would want. And this is where we bring out all the finisher kickouts. Fuck all that other shit. We're getting attitude adjustments. We're getting tombstones, choke slams. Maybe bring out the old school. He did the old school, I think. At least he tried it, one of the Saudi shows, so fuck it, we'll do it here. We have the STF. We have the very, heelish John Cena. John Cena tries to cheat, but The Undertaker has none of that. Anytime he even does cheat, like a steel chair, The Undertaker's he's not selling it. Fuck that shit. But, at the end, Undertaker's getting more tired and more tired and more tired, and John Cena takes advantage of that. And he hits a third attitude adjustment, and he hooks the leg. The crowd, and everybody counts. 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2, kick out. I'm sorry, that's what I said. I spoiled the ending. Because Undertaker does kick out. And he kicks him back up. Fuck that shit. Tombstone Piledriver. 92A. This old man beats John Cena. The Undertaker. Definitely not with a chokeslam. It's with the tombstone. Boom. Right there. 1, 2, 3. The streak lives on. I wanted to see, just to kind of visit. Undertaker's obviously old, but still can do a 92A is pretty fucking great. Unbelievable heat is indeed. John Cena's little legacy dies, as we have 22-0. It is very fitting. Just Undertaker, he does the stance, the eyes roll back in the head, he lifts the hand up, and we just see on the screen 22-0. The streak lives. Hopefully I was able to swerve viewers. Did I consider John Cena beating the streak? At first, yes. But due to the plans I have for the series once we get into 2020 after that, it just wouldn't have been right. I do have a plan for someone to win the streak, but it can always change depending on when Undertaker decides to retire and shit. But for now, Undertaker walks back into the night. He's done. He's gone. And the last thing we see, the lights go out, and when they come back on, we have a lightning bolt strike, because we gotta do some Undertaker shit. And, we see the hoodie and whatever, tactical jorts John Cena's are, they're on fire. Truly symbolizing that the John Cena, this John Cena's legacy, not the legacy itself, but the heel John Cena legacy, it is done. It's dead. And I think that's probably the best thing that can happen to the save. Well, except maybe for this. We have all the cameras in the world, all the pyro in the world. We have celebrity guests. Markiplier's there because he's gonna. That's a fucking thing. If you didn't watch the kickoff show, hopefully you did. I should have plugged the kickoff show. But, Markiplier is there. All the celebrities are there congratulating The Miz. And The Miz makes his entrance as WWE champion. He looks like a fucking god coming into the ring. Because he really is, he won the title, but to Miz's credit, he has stepped up his game. He went from a guy who was, United States champion at the very beginning of the save, to a guy who is main eventing the world, not WrestleMania, the world. He has become something bigger than wrestling, and he's carried the WWE into this new era where they truly are a global phenomenon. But he goes up against Daniel Bryan. There's no entrance for Daniel Bryan. It's a simple the yes chance. That's it. Because Daniel Bryan is the antithesis of this. Some people may, Daniel Bryan, is not a star in the making. But the way, there is no really, the yes movement of this save is one I prefer. Instead of being the underdog, he is the overdog. People know. Daniel Bryan will out-wrestle The Miz. That's for sure. What this match comes down to is, can The Miz out-think Daniel Bryan? Because that's what The Miz was doing. He was trying to out-wrestle people. When in reality, not only would he just cheat anyway, but he should just be thinking of being a smarter wrestler. And The Miz, he probably decides to work on a body part. He probably decides the arm to get the yes lock in would be a good idea. And Daniel Bryan again proves he out wrestles the Miz. He doesn't miss the. Daniel Bryan is like, I'm gonna hit everybody part. Fuck it. He's trying to chop the Miz down into just nothing, work him down into nothing. We're seeing Bryan Danielson level shit here, and this match is intense. This is the main event. This is what we've been building up to. Daniel Bryan and the Miz going 1-on-1 for the WWE title, and this is, the Miz does everything in his power to do it. He bends the rules as far as he can. He bends the counts of the referee all the way up to like 4 and like a ninth. So right before 5, right before disqualification. He doesn't want to disqualify himself. That would be stupid. At the end of the day, that would be in the record books, and that would show that he was an idiot and that he ruined WrestleMania. He's here to prove in front of all these cameras, all the world, that he is the better WWE superstar, not the better wrestler. But Daniel Bryan makes the comeback. The crowd is firmly on the side of Daniel Bryan. He hits the running knee. He locks in the yes leg multiple times. Miz, powers out of it. He counters into his shitty little figure 4 that he tries to do. He does all these things. We get a skull-crushing finale. Flips him over. 1-2 kick out. Running knee. 1-2 kick out. We quickly switch into the yes lock. And the Miz taps. And in a 99 A-star match. Sensational wrestling. Great heat. Daniel Bryan defeated The Miz with the yes lock to win the WWE title. This new era of WWE has truly begun. I also just want to say that we were so close to a 100. I feel cheated, if anything. But I feel we got 100 at WrestleMania. That was pretty cool. I did not expect it to be the Money in the Bank match, but you got to admit that was pretty cool. And me bitching about ratings, it makes me a fucking hypocrite. But we have the end of WrestleMania 30. The Dynasty defeated. Daniel Bryan has taken his rightful place as WWE Champion. He holds the belt up. Everyone's chanting yes. It's the Miracle Kid, but it's not the Miracle Kid. People expected this result. It wasn't it's going to happen. It's definitely most likely will. But you still aren't. To Miz's credit, he put on a great match. But at the end of the day, we have transitioned past the point of superstars, past the point of sports entertainment as a negative connotation. We are in the era of WWE where wrestlers like Daniel Bryan can stand toe-to-toe with all the dumb shit like Oz the Wizard. And you know what? That's an era that I would like to live in. This is the era I've said, this is what I like my WWE to be like. And we've come full circle on the save as Daniel Bryan wins the WWE Championship, and we end the show. 98A, so just a point, 2 points shy of beating out WrestleMania. Probably, maybe if the Undertaker match went on slightly last, but it had to go on. It had to go on, as well as the Austin Bray Wyatt match. Also kind of threw into like a bad connotation, but you know what? Still, at the end of the day, this is a great, absolutely fantastic Mania. Let me screenshot that. And there's going to be a real quick edit right here. Alright, we're back. Sorry about the edit. I had to make it for the screenshot. I like to screenshot all my pay-per-views, as I've said before. But I just want to thank everybody. Absolutely everybody for this. I want to thank all the people watching, of course. I want to thank all my subscribers. I want to thank all the people who aren't subscribers, who are just watching this video. I want to thank 64 for collabing with me on the kickoff show, and I'm very excited about that. And for more collaborations in the future, I want to thank, if I could, I'll thank, I want to throw Putty and Tuck in there. I've said this before. If you don't know Putty and Tuck, they're big. I assume you know who Putty and Tuck are if you watch TEW YouTube. Their brand split inspired this save. If I'm not ripping off ideas on them, they're highly advanced for them. But at this point, a lot of these, I'll say, the heel John Cena is definitely not a my thing idea. But, at least I try to handle it in a different way. But they are the reason I got back into TEW YouTube as a whole. And just the idea that I could, help people, be a little more day in the life, I guess. I'm just kind of, blabbering on at this point. That's about it. Just anybody who's watching this video, I want to thank you. And this really is kind of, I'm not gonna like cry or some shit. I'm not like a fucking idiot, but this is a big point. You know, this is the last TEW 16 video. And if you aren't aware, this save lives on. It's not going away, as far as I know. I'll keep updated if something goes horribly wrong, but the save will live on because we're converting it to TEW 2020. I don't know what TEW 2020 will hold. The save could collapse in on itself from all the new features not being able to handle it. It could go on to be the best save ever. You know, I could get millions of views, but at the end of the day, as long as I tell a good story, that's all I'm happy about. And at WrestleMania 30, I think I told a great fucking story. So one last time, I want to thank everybody for watching, and I will see you guys in TEW 2020.